Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to my channel. Greetings, explorers of knowledge. Join us as we embark on a quest to understand Green Bay, Lake Michigan. Green Bay is an arm of Lake Michigan, located along the south coast of Michigan's Upper Peninsula and the east coast of Wisconsin. It is separated from the rest of the lake by the Door Peninsula in Wisconsin, the Garden Peninsula in Michigan, and the chain of islands between them, all formed by the Niagara Escarpment. Green Bay is some convert long, with a width ranging from about, it is 1626 sqmi in area. At the southern end of the bay is the city of Green Bay, Wisconsin, where the Fox River enters the bay. The Leo Frigo Memorial Bridge, formerly known as the Tower Drive Bridge, spans the point where the bay begins and the Fox River ends, as the river flows south to north into the bay. Around mid-bay are Sturgeon Bay and the Peshtigo River. The Sturgeon Bay serves the city named after the bay as a shortcut for large ships to use to bypass the Door Peninsula, while the Peshtigo River serves Peshtigo and Crivitz. Locally, the bay is called the Bay of Green Bay to distinguish it from the city. The bay is located in parts of 5 counties in Wisconsin: Brown, Door, Kewaunee, Marinette, Oconto, and 2 in Michigan Delta, Menominee. Brace yourself for an enlightening exploration of history as we dive into its profound implications. Oconto is home to Copper Culture State Park, which has remains dated to around 5000–6000 BC. It is a burial ground of the Copper Culture Indians. This burial ground is considered to be the oldest cemetery in Wisconsin and one of the oldest in the nation. The Ho-Chunk believe that they were created on the shores of Green Bay at a place called Red Banks. The French Jesuit, Roman Catholic priest, and missionary, Father Claude Jean Luz, said the first Mass in Oconto on December 3, 1669. The bay was named La Baie de Puants, literally, the Bay of the Stinks, by the French explorer Jean Nicolet, as shown on many French maps of the 17th and 18th centuries. According to George R. Stewart, the French received the name from their Indian guides, who called the natives living near Green Bay by a derogatory word meaning stinkers. Thus the bay was the Bay of the Stinkers, but this name perplexed the French, and Jacques Marquette thought the name might relate to the smell of the swamps when he explored the area in May 1673. His fellow explorer Louis Joliet, with 2 canoes and 5 voyagers of French Indian ancestry mutis, were on their way to find the Mississippi River. They traveled up the Fox River, nearly to its headwaters. The French also called the bay Baie Verte, and the English kept this name as Green Bay. The name of the bay in the Menominee language is Pkit, or bay that smells like something rotting. In 1671 and 1673, Louis Andra and Jacques Marquette described fluctuations in the water level of the bay and discussed what they thought caused them. Now, let's delve into the intricacies of Ferromangan's nodules, currents, reefs, and fish and explore its various aspects. Ferromangan's nodules have been found in the bay. Todarkite occurs within the nodules. There are numerous reefs of exposed bedrock in the Port de Mortis Passage and in the bay. North of the peninsula, warm water from Green Bay flows into Lake Michigan on the surface, while at the same time, cold lake water enters Green Bay deep underneath. In a study looking at fish stomach contents, walleye were found to eat between 5–6% and lake whitefish and yellow perch over the course of a year. However, south of Chambers Island, walleye eat considerably more lake whitefish in May and June. Walleye were found to eat more yellow perch on an annual basis, but not more than 15% of their overall diet during any particular month. Walleye and lake whitefish in Green Bay for the most part do not compete for the same prey, especially south of Chambers Island. Lake whitefish and yellow perch in the bay compete strongly for the same prey south of Chambers Island, and compete moderately north of it. Get ready to immerse yourself in the world of areas of concern as we examine its impact and relevance. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, areas of concern are designated by the International Joint Commission as geographic areas in the Great Lakes Basin having severe environmental degradation. There are 43 areas of concern, with 26 in the United States, 17 in Canada, and 5 shared by the two countries. 12. Let's now turn our attention to background and examine its role within the larger context. Lower Green Bay Area of Concern was designated in 1987 under the Great Lakes Water Quality Agreement. It was designated by these sources of pollution affected by runoff pollution from urban and rural areas, municipal and industrial wastewater discharges, and degraded habitats. Industrialization was a major factor in this, becoming contaminated habitability, sedimentation, fluctuating dissolved oxygen, frequent algal blooms, degraded fish wildlife-bound populations, and adverse toxicant impacts. This AOC is a shallow environment that has a rapid recycling system, which also contributes to water quality issues. The seasonal dead zone in the lower part of the bay may have gotten longer from 2009 to 2015. Let's now venture into the realm of beneficial use impairments and explore the fascinating intricacies it holds. Beneficial use impairments (BUI) are a change in the chemical, physical or biological integrity of the Great Lakes system sufficient to cause significant environmental degradation. The International Joint Commission identified 14 BIs listed below. All BIs that have been designated for an AOC must be removed for the AOC to be considered restored and begin the delisting process. Green Bay BUI restrictions on fish and wildlife consumption, tainting of fish and wildlife flavor, degradation of fish and wildlife populations, fish tumors or other deformities, degradation of aesthetics, restriction on dredging activities, loss of fish and wildlife habitat, bird animal deformities or reproductive problems, excess of nutrients from pollutants, restrictions on drinking water consumption or taste and odor, beach closings, degradation of microorganism populations. The time has come to unravel the secrets behind timeline of restoration and gain a deeper understanding. Since 1988, over 3/4 of the 120 remedial actions recommended by the Lower Green Bay Remedial Action Plan have been implemented or initiated. Industrialization was a major factor regarding the Lower Green Bay becoming contaminated. Significant contributors were land, water use, agriculture, logging, industry, habitability, sedimentation, frequent algal blooms, degraded fish wildlife-bound populations, and adverse toxicant impacts. First stage of action plan is released 1993, update to action plan. Current progress is released and future goals are identified. 2003, USFWS releases an environmental assessment and restoration plan for the AOC 2003-2008. E. coli measured consistently on beaches shows overall health is good, but more projects needed to delist. 2009. Wisconsin DNR identifies delisting targets for each of the BIS. 2010-2011. Laws passed to reduce phosphorus in household materials, reduce phosphorus runoff from farms, and set new water quality standards. 2011 Stage 2 Action Plan update is released, describing key actions taken since 199 and identified future projects associated with the different BIS. 2012 Update Action Plan. U.S. Army Corps of Engineers begins Cat Island Restoration Project, and 360,000 cubic yards of PCB contaminated sediments are dredged. 2013 BUF Extension released fact sheet of BIS status in the AOC. Judge rules that all companies EPA considers responsible for PCB contamination must complete the required cleanup work. Welcome to the next segment, where we explore cleanup and its significance in our journey. Hast emergency cleanup. In 1999 and 2000, EPA oversaw a dredging project done by some of the paper companies about 3 miles upstream from the mouth of the Lower Fox River. It removed 80,000 cubic yards of PCB contaminated sediment, containing 3,400 pounds of CPS. 2019 marks the 16th year of cleanup of the Lower Green Bay. River cleanup is scheduled for late March depending on ice conditions. Monitoring will continue to study fish, water, and PCB concentrations. Once the Lower Green Bay cleanup is complete, long-term monitoring will still be done on the entirety of the river. Have any questions or topics you'd like me to cover in future videos? Let me know in the comments.